Hello contact jugglers! Today I'm going to be reviewing a few contact juggling balls that you might come across on websites to buy. I guess I'll start with the metal ones first. I like these because A, they're magnetic. This is a board that I have little neodymium magnets stuck to. And I just figured I'd show that off because that's something homemade that I made. First of all, metal ones for multi-ball are awesome. I give these probably like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for multi-ball because they're pretty indestructible. They don't really scratch like acrylics do, and they're wonderful. I think the only con is that they're kind of loud, as you can hear by all the clacking. This is me trying to not clack, and you can still hear it. So clacking for the metal ones I think is the only con that I can really find. They're real heavy, they're real good for building up strength in your hands for doing all those dexterous things for multi. We're going to compare those to the acrylics because those are the other option for multi-ball. I've got a few of those. And I don't really recommend a metal one for, here before I go on to acrylics, I don't really recommend these for body rolling, both for control and because they're so heavy, they tend to want to just stop and stall. Some people like that. I like for body rolling to have something that doesn't dig in like a heavier ball will. So these are kind of cons for body rolling and stuff like that. I'd say it's pretty good for the butterfly though, but not for doing chest rolls or any other kind of rolls like that, because again, they're so heavy they they dig into your flesh and kind of stop instead of keep wanting to roll like the lighter ones do. Anyway, going back to acrylics now. Say hello to Glittery Jim. He's one of my favorites, although he's a tell ball. These are perfect for isolations. They are literally 10 out of 10 for isolation. There's no tell marks, no nothing like that. So these I would recommend above all else for doing isolatable work or multi-ball work. And as you can tell, they're not like the metal ones, and they're not like crazy loud when they click and clack. So these are a little bit better than the metal ones, although they're not as indestructible as the metal ones. The metal ones I've dropped on sidewalk. They barely dent or scratch. These scratch at the drop of a hat or dust in the wind. They scratch up real easy. So that's kind of a con for the acrylic. And they also set fires in the sun. If you leave them on the ground in the sun, they will set fire to the ground or your coat or anything else underneath them. So that's also a con, but acrylics are pretty perfect for multi-ball or butterfly. Butterfly, I'd probably give them an 8, maybe a 9 if they're a nice big one. Let's see here. Next we've got Mr. Balache's. I have kind of a thing for purple, and Mr. Balache's are one of the few that come in purple. And these are wonderful for both toss juggling and body rolling. I'd give them like a 9 for body rolls because they're very forgiving. Very, very forgiving. You can't really palm spin them, but you can do multi-ball chest rolly with them. So these I would really love. These I really love. They're kind of light. That's kind of one of the cons. They're a pro or a con. I mean, they're real bouncy. Let me get my glow one. If you get ones that are colored, they tend to be real squishy. So they're very nice when you have to do these little catches because they give a lot. The glow one, which is also Mr. Babache 100mm, these tend to, see how that makes more noise when it knocks up against my fist rather than the colored ones. These have more of a, these don't squish as much. So keep that in mind if you do get a glow one. They're not going to squish quite as nice and squishy as these. But Mr. Babache A+ for both the color and just the grip ability and body rollability. Obviously you wouldn't want to try to do multi-ball with these because it's kind of they kind of grip a little too hard for doing multi-ball palm spinning kind of stuff. Alright, and now we're going to move on to one of my favorites, which is the play. This is a 100mm play. I would suggest getting the heavier 260 gram instead of the 210 or 200, I forget the grammage of the other ones that aren't as heavy. The butterfly ability of the 100mm 260 gram play, I think, is one of my favorites. Ditto with the 130mm, which are bigger. Obviously you can't palm spin something that's wider than your hand, but these are perfect for multi-chest rolly ball. These are my absolute favorite for chest rolls, as you can tell, by just the consistency and control. These are terrible for isolations because you can see, you can pretty much see that little seam line right there. So they're kind of like for ISOs, meaning your audience's close-up is going to be able to see that little seam going. So not so good for ISOs, but they are very forgiving. They're wonderful for body rolls. People seem to be more impressed by body rolls than they are palm spinny stuff, too. I've just noticed that from an audience standpoint. To each their own. Let's see, what else was I doing? This is how easily you can tell how controllable an acrylic versus a vinyl ball is. This is an acrylic. As you can see, the control is a little janky compared to a vinyl one, which is very smooth and very controllable. Woo! The only con to these are basically for the isolation seam or non-isolatable seam, or the way they pick up dirt and debris. The dirt and debris washes off, but ink, pen and ink, and newspaper print won't wash off of these, so keep them away from pens, ink, and newsprint, stuff like that. That's kind of a con for vinyls. That's the only irritating thing about them. Again, getting back to the 130mm plays, I love the control and the grip of a vinyl stage ball, both for juggling and contact juggling. You can really do some fun things like this. This kind of move you wouldn't be able to do with an acrylic unless you're, I don't know, covering it in duct tape. Something sticky. Anyway, that's my reviews for these balls, and hopefully everybody found this very informative. Happy rolling, happy contact juggling.